Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the Delta Green tabletop role-playing game rules by Arc Dream Publishing. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. Listeners should know that this podcast will include mature themes and scenes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, military organizations, and etc., which may bear resemblance to entities living, dead, or redacted, is completely coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your handler. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I am your handler this evening, Michael Diamond, and we are back with our adventures with Ocel somewhere in the wonderful and peaceful space of Montana. So at the top of the show, as we like to do, we'd like to thank you, the listener, and especially you, the Patreon supporter. If you've not had a chance to check out what we offer, you can on patreon.com/theoldwayspodcast. Jump over to YouTube, subscribe there, and check us out at twitch.tv/theoldwaystwitch. And now we will get into our missing heart formation for our Ocel game and start with introductions to my right.
Hey, it's me, Miranda, playing Dr. Aaron Weber, which you may have noticed that I'm a doctor of chemistry and not of electrical engineering.
I did notice that.
Not a lot of technical skills.
No. Well, we'll work on that. To Dr. Weber's right.
Hi, this is Nate, and I play Elliot Winters, analyst with the Department of State. I'm really good with people, but all this electronics technology is sort of like Weber. It's got me spinning in circles.
Well, I look forward to seeing how many circles you spin in. And last, but most certainly not least.
Hi, my name is Tegan, and I'm playing Brett, Young Buck Hawking, and I got a sniper rifle and some night vision goggles. And I heard at least 2 bullets.
Yeah, you probably have more than 2, but probably would be good to take up a collection in case things get bad. So when we last left our agents, they were, in effect, just doing a little inventory, setting up this telephony device for recording inside of Bear's mom's rental house. And they had left Crystal Lynne to her devices to go back to work. And she had told them that she was going to do her best to collect as much information about the plant and about what was going on there as she could get her hands on. She seemed very determined and very prepared. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. So at the start of this, I would just say that evening, no one yet needs to sit by the recorder, because since there are no phone bugs in play, it can't receive any direct calls just yet. But it does give you all the opportunity to actually get some rest. And so unless there's any agents that are going to stay up for an indeterminable reason, which they can determine with me if they'd like to, we can move the clock forward to the morning.
I just want to sleep near the phone because phones have been doing weird things. That's it.
Yeah, they sure have. I'm sure it's nothing. Nothing to worry about. You all sleep fairly well, I would say. Dr. Weber, you sleep with your bestest bud in the world, which is Bojangles. And he is sort of a little bit of a bed hog. He also gets up and moves a little bit during the night. And in general, is a dog in bed.
All legs.
Yes. A lot of shuffling around. But we'll say that around 6 or 7 a.m., folks can decide to do their morning routines, whatever they are, or if they're going to choose to sleep in, that is up to them as well. Your door is knocked on by about 8:30.
I'd like to go answer the door then. Well, first, I'd like to peek through, if there's anything to peek through, a window or an eye hole or something.
There's a small window. There's 2 of them at the top of the door. They got these little tiny curtains on them. We're not even sure what that's for, but you can totally peek through.
Yeah. I like to peek through. What am I looking at out here?
You see a woman in her mid-20s. She's in a janitorial uniform.
Oh, is this our gal?
It's Lynne, yes.
Okay, cool. I'll open the door. Hey, what's up, Lynne?
Hey, thanks. She steps in. What a fucking night.
You look like somebody who works night shift. You want like a cup of noodles or some bacon or something?
Yeah, no, I don't want any more coffee right now. I had a couple cups when I was at work. She's trying to like warm herself up. It's September, and so it's a little cold here. For those of you tracking the day and the date at home, it is Friday, September 7th.
So make sure you fill in your bingo card.
That's right. So that place it's a wild one still. She steps into the kitchen/dining area side of this small house. Bojangles starts to howl and bark because he can hear someone else in the house.
Well, I bet Weber's going to be up in a second.
Come. Oh, my. Bojangles. Shh. Shh. Quiet. Nope.
That cane Corso hits the ground.
I'll too roll out of bed.
He's pawing at the door.
I'll just let him out. Open it up so he can run out and see who it is.
Yep, he does. You can feel the body weight as it runs through the house. Like it moves the floorboards. And you are suddenly beset upon by death itself in the form of a very large dog. It tackles you.
I don't think you can miss that sound, so I'll wander through. I'm still in my pajamas, cup of coffee in hand. Oh, Lynn, can I get you a cup of coffee? Good morning.
Good morning. No. This sort of half points at Buck here and says, he's already offered me coffee. What I could really use is, a beer or something.
Oh, sure. It's supper time for you. Just a sec. I'll go in the kitchen and grab her a drink.
Yep. There's some leftover iced house in the fridge.
Oh, I'm looking for anything, just anything else.
You do. You find a red and white normal banded Budweiser.
That's at least twice as good as the ice house. So away we go. I got you the best thing we got left, and let me tell you, you'll thank me for this. And give her the Bud.
Yeah, she takes it and opens it up, and she says, I snagged some facility maps while I was there. I took them from one of the offices. So listen, the facility, the way it's set up, it's got 2 floors. There's a standard admin floor, and then there's a second floor. That's where all the high up muckety mucks are at. So did you figure out how we're going to snoop on them?
Aaron will kind of wander out at this time, having listened to the conversation. I think we've got the stuff fixed. We got some stuff last night, and it took us a while. It was a late night, but, old Dr. Weber here, that's me, got it taken care of, I think.
Great. That looks great. Okay, so there's a lot of labs there.
Yeah.
Now, Crystal, what can you tell me a little bit about this? What are these gemstone market, the ruby, the emerald, such on the cardinal points here?
Yeah, so those are the places where chemicals get processed at. So they're production places. They're chemical production areas.
All right, so through these airlocks, you go through, and it's just a big old warehouse where they're doing chemical. Okay, got it.
Yeah. We got to wear clean gear when we're in there, so we're not contaminating the place.
This is a fun way of naming the labs. Unless they're processing diamonds and emeralds, which I don't think so. So, does this say pipes to rail platform?
Yeah, there's a rail line that runs right by the plant.
Are they big pipes, do you think?
Yeah.
Is that private rail, or is that like Amtrak?
I think, anyway. I've never seen an Amtrak train. I think it's just freight.
Winters, you look like a kind of guy that might know a thing or two about pipe. Do you think we could maybe make our entrance that way?
You want to climb through these pipes up in here?
Maybe.
Well, I wouldn't suggest that.
I mean, chemical and pharmaceutical, it says pumping and transfer station, so that might not be the best thing.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. You're going to get through these pipes and get into the pumping station. feels busy. And if it's freight, that might be the place where they're most concerned about, I don't know, theft and stuff like that. But, I mean, it's possible. It depends on what kind of freight's coming in there and how that's loaded up.
It's an option. It's an option.
I've never jumped trains and such, but possible.
So tomorrow night is the standard weekly delivery day. There's a weekly train that arrives at the south gate. It's probably 9:30. It gets loaded. It takes about an hour, I think. I'm thinking through smoke breaks and stuff like that.
And who does that loading?
Oh, production staff.
All right, so it's people that work for ABC. It's not people that are on the train itself.
Yeah. No, they're the rail workers aren't allowed on the site itself.
And they in uniform?
The rail workers?
No. The folks that is loading the trains and such.
Oh yeah, they would be in a lab production uniform. So like this, but a different color.
Weber, Brett, Krista, if you could maybe set aside a couple of them uniforms, someplace we might be able to snatch them. You might have a point of entry there, Weber. It might be an idea that's worth exploring.
Yeah, I think it's an option. I mean, we can consider all other options as well, but I have noticed that all of the offices are unlabeled, but there are 2 offices that are labeled with individuals' names.
Yeah, I put them down.
Okay. None of those are crisp, though.
No, I still haven't found his office yet.
Yeah, it's okay.
Ray Turner's the plant manager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate your idea of coming in on this, or getting in through the train area. It definitely seems like a weakness to their entry and exit, possibly like coming in on a train if, you had a way of jumping on board a train before it entered the facility. Or alternatively, if you had another way of entering the facility, quickly leaving the facility, before something unfortunate happened to the facility. Like a McAllister style situation.
Oh, we don't need to bring that up.
Oh, what?
I just start rubbing my forehead, fingers through my hair.
Oh, nothing. Inside joke.
Chris, I'm looking at these maps. Any of these places here you're just not allowed to go into? It's forbidden to, whatever, Lab 6, for instance, or anything like that?
No. I mean, we don't generally do a lot of work in the production area, but we do have some staff that do occasionally go into each one. I could try to, I don't know, draw a map maybe. The production facility is a lot more complex than an office building.
Can I ask you about some of the security precautions?
Sure.
Are the doors wired for electricity? Like, are they keypad controlled or are they key and lock?
Yeah, there's swipe cards to get into the production area.
So there's an electronic system that would notice if a door was left unlocked or any lock was not engaged for an extended period of time. Okay, well that won't work. What are you thinking, Webby?
I don't know. I mean, one way is that we sneak in more under, I guess, cloak, where we try to hide ourselves completely. Another way is that we gain access, but we try to do so in a slightly more legitimate way. I mean, we'd still be breaking in, but if we have like keycard access or something like that, both are options. What we're looking for, I mean, honestly, we don't even know if it's on this map. Whatever weird shit they're doing, I mean, it could be some unlisted area.
That's what I'm going back onto, Weber. I mean, Crystal, if you're allowed anywhere on this map here, it's damn likely that that's not where they're making undead dogs, right? I mean, that's something that would be very noticeable. So I don't know if what we're trying to get to and trying to understand is anywhere here. And I'm looking at this map trying to see if there's anything that just don't make any sense. Like, oh, why doesn't this room show up? Or why is this smaller than it should be and such like that? Is there a basement or a sub-basement or any of that kind of nonsense in this place?
I mean, not that I have seen.
Wait. Winters, look at this. Look at Lab 6. Look at its layout on this map. What do you know about Lab 6? It's got a lot of small rooms inside the big room with an additional locked area in the back. Are those like cages? Cubicles?
I don't know anything about it other than it's Dr. Matroy's lab.
So you haven't been inside of it?
I don't clean that space.
That's fine. Some secure facilities, they don't even let sometimes they don't let the cleaners in, even, and they're like empty your own trash.
But no one in like your friend group, like you guys are having a lunch talking about stuff, and someone's like, "Oh, this is weird," or anything like that. I mean, people talk. That's the best part of having a job, is having people to talk shit with.
I mean, I can ask tomorrow when I go back to work.
And you're not hearing or smelling dogs. You're not cleaning dog hair. You're not coming across that, are you?
No.
That's weird. Well, maybe they're not using dogs for most of the experiments. That's an assumption we're making. We're making an assumption that this situation you've got in this box, Elliot, is not, a one-off or like the culmination of some sort of experiment. There could be mice in cages in every other room in every other lab.
Any of your boyfriend's friends have a dog that's gone missing, Crystal?
No.
Oh shit, is there a pound in town? Animal control?
Well, I mean, ABC's people use dogs. There's a dog kennel on site.
What's the breed of the thing in the box, Elliot?
It's a little bit holy. A German Shepherd, that's right.
Okay, well, that's a very specific breed. It's not a mutt either. It's a German Shepherd. So that's a purebred dog that's often used for security. Go ahead.
Now, she points at you, Weber. Now that you mention it, there was one time somebody a couple weeks ago talked about hearing what sounded like monkeys in the ceiling.
Yeah. I think you bring up a point here, Brett, is that, we got the dog, but you don't start at dog or stay at dog. I mean, if this is some sort of human application, like almost all things that they would want to do, we talked about maybe it's a military application. Dog is maybe a stepping stone between rat and monkey. I mean, animal trials with monkeys wouldn't be unheard of. You said upstairs? You heard them upstairs coming from the ceiling?
In the ceiling? Is there another story to this building? Is that possible?
It's just 2 stories.
No, I get that it's just 2, and this is her saying that, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Crystal, just clarify for me. Here, monkeys in the ceiling. The ceiling from where? The first floor or the second floor?
We were cleaning the first floor. But this wasn't my story. They just said they heard monkeys in the ceiling.
And noise can bounce around. If they got, ventilation, they may be in one part of the building, but the next room over there, 2 rooms over there, getting monkey sounds from the ventilation.
Maybe. It could be that. It could be, I have investigated more than one building. It's like that 13th floor nonsense. But
yep,
the 13th floor actually exists, and that's where, well, in my case, that's where the processing facility was.
I'm not doing weird extra floors. I'm not doing it.
No, but these are there. These aren't there sometimes and not there sometimes, Brett. These are there all the time. And people have intentionally hidden them, like putting a bookcase in front of a closet.
What are you talking about? She looks generally bewildered. Missing floors?
It's nothing. It's nothing. No. It's good. We're fine.
It's a weird case. It's a weird case that we were all on together a number of years ago. Rattled us a little bit, as you can tell. So this Lab 6, this middle area here is Montreux. Is that the fella's name?
Montreux, yeah.
I'm looking at these listening devices and thinking that's a likely spot. Tell me about Ray Turner. You scribbled his name up on this map too. Who's he?
He's the plant manager now.
Oh, that's right. He took over for the fella that was relocated to South Korea. Is that what you said?
Right.
That poor fella. You have access to those two offices when you's cleaning?
Yeah, I cleaned him.
Those are two obvious places. You all see somewhere else that makes sense?
No, I mean, if those are the people that are going to know something, if they know something, and maybe will speak out of turn or will speak in a way that doesn't sound right.
Yep.
Something doesn't make sense to anyone but makes sense to them. So I think that makes the most sense.
And Crystal, weird question. Do you clean or you enter the environmental control safety monitoring room that I see up here in the upper top right of this map? First floor?
I don't normally, but I could get in there if I need to.
You can get in there? In my experience, that is exactly where you hide all sorts of weird shit because it's the most boring place in a place for most normal folk. Or it's the place they think they're going to get in trouble if they check out. I'm sort of interested in that. But Weber, Brett, I'm sort of at a lot. Even if we got into this place right now, I don't know what I would do. Just wander about hoping to stumble on something? That's how you get caught. Caught and killed.
At this point, I think we can make some educated guesses about where to go, but they would still just be that. They'd be guesses. It'd be, either office and whatever Lab 6 is, and maybe we'd stumble on something, but maybe we wouldn't. You would think, we're not going to get into security.
The source is either in this building or it's not in this building. If the source is in this building, then we use a lovely combination of things we find in the kitchen on one floor and the lab on the other floor to make the building not be a building anymore.
I thought you guys were just like cops. Can't you just get a warrant?
I got this.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, there's a reason you don't hear about weird shit in the news, and it's because when weird shit happens, it doesn't get a warrant. It just gets handled.
Okay. So do you want me to like get uniforms so you can try to sneak in?
Yeah, that was Elliot's idea, and that seems like a good one.
Yeah, I think that's one. Krista, here, I've handed her a pad and a pen. I'm sorry, I'm going to give you a bit of a shopping list here, but yeah, uniforms, and they need to be the uniforms of the folks that load and unload the freight. So that'd be number one. And then Weber's got these listening devices, and I think we want one in Metro's office. We want one in Turner's office. I'd like one in Turner's secretary's office, because the secretary always knows what's going on and knows more. And third on that list, if you can get a little peeksy at Lab 6 in that environmental control and safety office, I think that would be helpful. And I really think you do that tomorrow, and then once we figure out and hear and get back some of that information, we can understand what we're going to do from there. What else, Brett? What am I missing, Weber?
Yeah, it sounds good. The only other place on my list for possible places is that security and telephone switchboard. A lot of information probably passes through there, but doesn't necessarily get spoken about. But just something I think to be on our radar. Do find ourselves in the building as a possibility.
And then I think that the three of us should talk about what we could find and what our reactions should be to the different things that we could find.
Mm-hmm.
So that we're on the same page.
That feels smart.
Okay, so I go back tonight later on. I'll work to get you the uniforms, people that will deal with that stuff, but we're going to come up against a clock here. I don't normally work until midnight. If I play my cards right, I could switch shifts with somebody and get on second. They start at 4. They run all the way till 1, which puts my lunch about maybe 7 o'clock. If I drive and meet you halfway, I could drop off the uniforms. I could drop off some identification you might need. You could come back on just like you'd been out to lunch.
In terms of logistics, once you place these listening devices, is anyone going to be around to actually that? Because this is good. If you can get on second shift, at least you can maybe place them when folks is in the office. So there's actually creating stuff for us to listen to. Because, yeah, we're talking about day after day, waiting day after day to get some of this information otherwise.
I can do what I can. How do you use them?
I look over at Weber.
Oh, well, I will go through explaining the best that I can to you. Maybe I'll just write it down. How it's, well, no, that wouldn't be good because then there's evidence. You see, there's these these switches here, and you gotta connect it there, and so we need you to do, if you can just hold this part while you're hooking it up, and then you're good to go.
It's like plugging in my kid's Nintendo.
Yeah, if it doesn't work, just blow into it. I find that always helps.
Blow into it? Okay.
Yeah. The Nintendo.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which takes 3 of the 5 that you have. Okay. I'll go get some shut-eye real quick and message one of the second shift folks and see if they want to swap with me. I'll just tell them I got to be at a doctor's appointment or something. She takes the pieces and finishes the beer and leaves it on the kitchen table and then walks back out.
Hey, we've got to have a conversation where we outline 2 or 3 things we might find in this building and then come to some sort of consensus on what we will do should we find each of those things, so that we're on the same page. We all feel good about our actions before we go in there. And then we can all trust each other not to do something crazy or stupid. Which I would like to acknowledge the fact that I'm probably the one most likely to want to blow something up. So this is actually kind of like a courtesy back to you.
Well, Brett, I can tell you, if we find something that is trying to produce whatever it is that created JoJo here, I'm going to be helping you blow this place up. That's not a policy or a law situation. That is a crime against humanity.
What if the knowledge is not contained in a formula or a computer, but in a person's mind?
Well, I mean, that could be a situation where we take them into custody. Why, you're shaking your head at me, Winters? Why is that? That's not what we're doing.
No, you're right. We'll take them into custody. Brett and I will take them into custody and make sure they are handled. Weber, I think what Brett's trying to say here, we might have a mad scientist situation, and you don't put a mad scientist up in jail.
Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, I know that. No, but what if the people that we work for are interested in that?
I don't like thinking about putting that mad scientist in our so-called employer's hands either.
I actually completely agree with Elliot. I gesticulate wildly in Elliot's direction with my hands.
Maybe if they'd be kind enough to say a few things about what they about, other than just getting us out of our comfy lives, well, our miserable, ruined lives, our comfy lives, I'd feel differently. But I don't trust him. I don't trust him more than I trust buildings with secret floors.
No, we're not. Look, if Brett's having a hard time talking at this point.
They can't all be magical buildings. They can't. I feel like 2 in one lifetime that we're done with magical, weird buildings. We don't have to worry about another one.
I feel like at this point we are like the architectural squad of this group. Like that's who they call. They're like, oh shit, there's a weird room that's not supposed to exist. Oh, that's cool. Call these chuckle fucks.
That's our interior redecorating squad over there.
We specialize in sudden disassembly.
We ain't the most subtle is the other other issue there. I mean, I think we got to work towards our strengths, and our strengths seem to be fire and explosions and such. And sex.
Well, they can't think that this is... Excuse me?
Well, I can't forget about the sex with the demon. I mean, fire, explosions, and sex.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I forgot. I did forget about that part. Intentionally.
Oh, dear Lord. Oh, man. You got to tell me your secret, because I cannot forget about that part, and it haunts me.
I don't know how to respond.
I'm just glad that we have Brett on the team for when those situations come up.
Fire, frenetics, and fucking. We've got it.
And they can't think that this is more widespread, like this is a company-wide thing, because, I mean, blowing this place up or taking a person out or whatever ain't gonna do anything if it goes deeper than that.
If it goes deeper than that, then we call the higher-ups. Look, if we go in there and we find evidence that not only are they mass producing this stuff, but like it's getting piped out, or that obviously the formula or the person who invented it is not here and not handleable, then at that point we've got to call up and be like, hey, look, the mastermind is in Omaha. You want us to go to Omaha? Or what do you want us to do at that point? But if the situation is concealed within this one property, we can rapidly disassemble this property.
And remember, we did get a little bit of information on escalation. We did get a couple things. You know, we I don't want to say we have an open ticket, but airstrikes and calling in local military, etc., was mentioned.
And we got night vision goggles. There's no reason we can't, I don't know, stake this place out a little, see what's coming and going in this place. You know, we got Lynne on the inside. Lynn's got us on the outside. So I think we can pull some of our weight here too, instead of relying on poor sweet Lynne to get us all the information that we need.
Well, here's something I do need to confirm before we go in, and this is a Weber thing. This is 100% a Weber thing.
Okay.
The stuff that you can find in a kitchen, and the stuff that you can find in almost any laboratory, and your chemistry background, can you produce an incendiary device?
Oh, they probably have all sorts of shit in that lab that you can make a real big explosion. Any lab of this size, I mean, they have tons of, they're doing chemical production and processing. That's hazardous, and I honestly think that we could even get in there and it could look like an accident. We might want to make it look on purpose, but I think they're working with some real dangerous stuff there, and it would be easy enough to manufacture a means of destruction. Way better than going to a bunch of stores like we did before.
And then how do we stop? Let's say that we do decide this, and we go in there and we see what we need to see, and we say we're going to set fire to the building, or we're going to blow up the building. If it's not a sudden explosion, if it's a fire, do we need to eliminate any sort of, safety systems, fire suppressant system?
Yeah, probably. I mean, they probably have a big operation like this, some pretty good chemical fire suppression systems. That may be something that we have to consider unless we have a real targeted attack. Like we said, we don't think that it's necessarily a company-wide thing, a company spread thing. It may be located in one central area where we can kind of destroy all the evidence and what's happening, whatever experiments are happening in one central area.
If we don't, then my backup idea is
murder everyone inside the building.
No, this is easy. If we do it late at night, then it shouldn't be that much of an issue if we plan for something, past midnight, hopefully. But if you want to knock out your fire suppression systems, my suggestion would be to target the power backups and then shut off the power and then blow up the primary target.
Probably do some damage in environmental control and safety monitoring too.
So, Weber, you would probably be fairly well aware that it's possible that the building might be equipped with a halon fire suppression system. So an odorless gas that would be pressed into the area to squelch any sort of class A, B, or C type of fires. That covers a wide range of fires. It's also something, too, that once it goes off, people can't be in the building because it removes oxygen from the air. And without oxygen, you're in a bad way.
But there is there's the environmental control and safety monitoring. We could maybe do some damage, disable some stuff from there. If we just go in, we're trying to do this a one-time deal. It's going to be a pretty big operation. If we can do a recon and then an attack, maybe we come out a little bit better, but I don't know if we have time for that. Once we get in once, we might not be able to get in again, so it might end up being a one and done.
So here's what I'd like to know. It is roughly, by now, about 9 o'clock or so. You have until 7 o'clock p.m. before you have to be anywhere to pick up uniforms to potentially go into this place and get a good look around. My question to the agents here are, how are you feeling that day, or would you like to simply fast forward to that time?
I mean, I don't want to go into the facility without our fourth person, do we?
Okay.
I also need like another person who can handle a gun.
I mean, if you want me to have one, I'll take one. If it makes you feel any better, Brett.
No, you're the chemist in the group. I need you to focus on what is going on in the building, because you're going to understand chemical processes, right? And I'm sorry if I'm jumping into a leadership position. Please check me, Elliot. And then I need you to like keep an eye open for like what we would need in order to destroy that evidence if it comes down to it. Because we're going to go in there assuming that there's going to be what we need to destroy a building. And I feel like it's a fair assumption, but it's an assumption.
Now, Lynn's inside doing our recon. Maybe we could do some recon on the outside or down at the rail platform or something like that and get an eye from the outside about what's going on.
I got a gun with a 40x scope, and we both got night vision goggles. I feel like we could do something of usefulness.
One of the rules of operation planning is you don't fuck around where the operation's going right before the operation. So we need to be careful about going out there. We go out there and get seen, and then when we come back, it's the second time. You never want that. I agree. I think we could do some recon, but we got to be careful about that. And I'm really, until we get a little bit more information from Lynne, I am good with buckling down here. We don't need to go into town. We don't need to go out to the site. But once we get a little bit of information from Lynne, or once dark falls and we can set that sight on that rifle and these night vision goggles, unless these are some magic technology there, that they're pretty useless at range. They're going to show a big blur at range. We need to get sort of close. And again, if we're planning on entering the place, I don't really want to be seen in any way, shape, or form. Does that make sense, y'all?
I agree with you. If we do recon immediately before, and you're like in all black and you've got night vision on, you might be able to get close enough to like get an understanding of like a watch rotation.
Agree. But do you think, Brett, we could get that with your scope and sitting, an eighth of a mile away, half a mile away?
No, exactly. And, if there's public land out there, we'd have a reason to be out there with a scope if we look at like hunters. So we would have something that we'd have possible deniability if somebody walked up on it.
And I happen to know where to get some hunting gear because I investigated that a little bit earlier.
And beef jerky.
Oh, there's plenty of beef jerky up in here.
All I've got is this shrimp lime flavored cup of noodles.
Just be careful, Brett. You put that beef jerky in your pocket. These res dogs will come at you.
That is likely very true. Okay, so what I'm hearing is we're going to collect the uniforms and the identification at some point this evening, but we're not going to act necessarily on anything yet, because what Winters wants is more information, or at least an opportunity to roll through a 24 or 48 hour cycle where the phones can actually ring and the recorder can actually pick up something important. Is that right?
Only thing I want to do now is get and pick up that camping gear, because I think that is either a cover story or it might be of direct use.
Okay. So what I'll do is this then. I'll move us forward a little bit in sort of a montage. You acquire the camping gear, Winters. That's not difficult at all. The shop has basically everything that you would need for a September campout in Montana. So there could still be some warm days, but you're going to get more than enough, thick sleeping bags if necessary. You can get what is effectively a 1-man or 2-man tent that is sort of not aerodynamic, but it's slung low rather than being a tall tent, right? It's meant to sleep out somewhere sort of secluded. It would be enough to hold the gear. You'd be able to break down the rifle and have sort of a kit in there, and then sit out and watch the space from a very long, long way away. That being said, at 4 o'clock, the brain ticks forward and you start watching the machine, because now you know that likely Crystal is in ABC and she's going about cleaning, and you're hoping that at any point now that machine will start operating. It takes a few hours until anything happens at all. The machine does power up at one point, like it gets voltage, but there's no signal. What I want to know is who's going to go meet Crystal for the uniform drop off.
I'll go. I'm happy to go.
Okay, so the facility itself is 30 kilometers north of Browning. You meet her nowhere near the facility itself, which is really, really good. So we'll say you meet her probably about halfway. She gives you details when you get her. She gives you a little care package, basically, of uniforms that she's managed to effectively nick. She made up some excuse about having to get some of her stuff cleaned, and the guards were, they just brushed her on through like it was no big deal. She says that she has one single identification badge that you all are going to have to figure out how to make multiple of. And then she tells you that she's fairly certain that delivery is going to come tonight. Whatever it is, that the train is going to stop tonight in a few hours. But she said she's hooked a couple of devices up in a few of the offices, and she managed to get one on the switchboard. And now what I'll do is I'll roll stealth just a couple of times, just to see how Lynne did. It's sort of important. Tells you that she did everything right as far as she knows.
That's you've done more than we, I think, could have ever hoped or wished for. Invaluable. You have been invaluable in helping us.
Listen, I know this is just some gig for you all or whatever it is that you're doing, but remember, my boyfriend's missing.
Yeah, I know. And if we can find him or find out what happened, we're going to do that for you.
I mean, fuck his friends. Who cares about them? But
yeah, if we find him, if we see him, I'm going to try my best to get him back for you. And Weber hates saying that, but she feels like she has to, but she knows that this guy is probably dead or a zombie by now.
Ooh, fantastic. Hey, Weber, why don't you roll human for me?
Oh, perfect. I'm so good at human.
Show me how...
I rolled a 77 over 10.
Okay, so that's not good.
I know.
Doubles over your skill is bad.
I know. Fumble times.
It is a fumble. She looks at you. Are you really in this? Like, listen, those other two seem really committed.
My ass wouldn't be here if I wasn't committed. This shit has pretty much ruined my life. Okay? So I'm here and I'm fucking in it. All right? I'm just this is a very stressful situation. And I know I don't have the same skills as them. I know that they're better at this sort of thing, and the cop stuff and the military stuff and the sneaking around and the doing things. But I got skills too, and I can do things too. And I'm just as valuable of a team member as they are.
Oh my gosh. I think you should have a breakdown.
Okay.
Yeah. She looks at you and she says, it's going to get way worse before it gets better. I'm prepared for that. You better get your ass prepared for it too.
Weber starts, like, her breathing is start getting really heavy, but then shallower and shallower and shallower until she's sucking in air, but she's not getting enough oxygen. And her legs, her face is flushed, and she's hyperventilating, and she is like rock standing and rocking her knees. Her legs look like they're about to go out from under her. She kind of starts grabbing her chest a little bit.
You see something a little unexpected. Lynne turns and walks back to her car. She doesn't say another word to you.
What a dick.
She gets in the car and turns and drives back towards ABC. So when you return, invariably with the clothes and the identification, you manage to recover on the way back. You think a lot about all the things that you have given up for this job. All the things.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of wonder, you still wonder about that thing at the side of the road, the car, the guy, Holly, the McAllisters sending you love letters through the mail. This job has cost you everything.
It has, yeah. Life ruined. And for what? So I can spend time with a bunch of fucks. Great.
Well, Bojangles as well.
Those three, yeah, Bojangles is great. That's really the only silver lining in this. My friends and family now are the three that are back at the cabin. That's all I have.
You head back. Elliot, you're going through your camping gear, your stakeout gear when Weber comes back.
What'd you get, Weber?
And Weber looks like she's been crying the entire way back. Eyes red, swollen. I know that makes no difference.
Weber, what happened?
Look, I don't know. I got the stuff we got. Okay, we have
Wait, is Lynne all right? What's going on?
she's fine. Lynne's fine, and we have uniforms. We have one badge, so we're gonna have to duplicate that somehow. And she said there'd be a delivery tonight in like a few hours, and then she said some really mean things, and then drove back in the direction of the place.
Wait. She says some mean things to you? Is she thinking? Is she double thinking?
I don't know if she's double thinking. I just I try to be reassuring because she really wants us to find her boyfriend, and I said that we'd do everything we could. But I don't think she believed me, and then she implied that I'm useless and I'm not as good as the rest of you, and that I'm of no value to this team. Some of that may be internalized, but I mean, pretty much that's what she said. I might be projecting that, I don't know, but that's really gist of it. Delivery tonight. She put one of the things in the switchboard and the offices.
All right. Weber, she is a resource for us. And sometimes people that are a resource for us, they suddenly catch on and they act out like this. Those things that she said are almost totally untrue. Mostly untrue. A couple of those things are definitely untrue, Weber. I can guarantee it. At least one of those things is something that I would not fully agree with.
Okay.
Hopefully that's helping. Also, her boyfriend is either dead or a zombie. I don't know what she's thinking.
But I didn't feel like saying that to her was going to get us anywhere.
No. You did good. Did she see you cry? Did she see you get upset?
Oh, yeah.
Good. You can use that. You want your. I mean, think of her as in the police shows. Think of her as a CI, and you want her to feel both the pressure and feel bad, and want to do this job because we're relying on her. She's our only bet right now until we go in there and do some work ourselves. So.
But I feel really stupid because I cried in front of her, and crying's a sign of weakness, and now she knows that still that, like, I'm the weak link on the team, so that's...
Weber, remember how you met Crystal Lynne in her trailer?
You mean, yeah, when we went in and there was the knife and the phone cord and yeah.
Exactly. She does not think you're weak. She's trying to get a little bit back at you because when you guys met, she was terrified of you and of Hart and of that whole situation. So just she matters, but she does not matter. I'm sorry you had to go through that, but sometimes this is what happens when you're dealing with folks and you're using them to achieve an objective like this.
Okay, thanks, Winners.
You are not useless.
And there's now an empty box of Kleenex and then a used pile of Kleenex, as it's just been constant.
And I'm going to go up in the kitchen. I'm going to get one of them Glad bags. I'm going to clean this out because I don't want to drive in this. I got some camping gear and stuff as well. But show Brett this ID card because I know that he's sort of clever with that stuff. Maybe he can whip up a couple more.
Okay.
Yeah, Bojangles is comforting you.
Bojangles.
So the identification that you acquired is not complex, but it is professional. So this is not a key card to access separate areas, but this is a badge. And so there's no magnetic stripe. There's no internal copper banding to produce a Wiegand format. It's a picture. It's a name. It's a logo.
Is there a Walmart in this town?
Nope. Tribal land, my friend. Tribal land. No Walmart anywhere nearby.
So there's no September 8th, 2001. And there's no Walmart. There's no Office Max. No Best Buy.
There's probably a Best Buy in, like, Billings.
How far is Billings? 4 hours away?
I'd have to check, which I'm happy to do.
Elliot, do you have a laptop?
I got a computer at my apartment at home. No, with me? A laptop? Mm-mm.
Weber, do you have a laptop on you? It's 2001.
I have previously had a laptop. It may have been property of my employer because I've used a laptop at home in home scenes to do recon or to gather information. So would it be reasonable to state that I brought my laptop with me?
Was it reasonable? Let's see. I think it's reasonable enough to say that you would have brought it.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I have one.
How close do they need to see this badge? I can do weird shit with saran wrap, but, like, if they're going to touch it, I need, like, laminating paper. Or you got to flash it at a guard.
No, just got to flash it at a guard.
It is likely a badge one would wear along with their work clothes to identify that they work for ABC.
You get me a credit card, a printer, a laptop, and some saran wrap. On a night shift, I could make something pass. On a day shift, they might look at it a little askance. This house got an inkjet printer?
No. It's got, like, a Davenport. And if you're going to try to forge something...
I mean, I'm not forging anything crazy. I mean, it's what? A photo on a white background with a logo, and I've got an example of the logo, and it's some text, usually like a person's name. It's on a credit card sized sheet.
I think this is a SIGINT roll.
Well, fuck, I got 0 in that. Let me make a human roll.
No.
Who's got SIGINT?
Or it could be craft.
Oh, just like last time, Tegan. The one person around the table with SIGINT is old Dr. Aaron Weber with 20%.
I got 20% in art.
I've got 70% in computer science. If we could find a print shop somewhere, maybe I can do something.
I'll give you this. Elliot, you're fairly convinced that with Weber's laptop, if you could get to a public library, you probably would have all the tools that you would need, printers, etc., to get this created. You have to do it during the day. Obviously, it's beyond work hours now, but you think you could probably pull it off. It might also take a little human to convince those wonderful librarians to not really notice what you're up to. Could work.
I'm sociable.
So we need a distraction, and we need, based on what I'm hearing you lay down, Brett, we need a color printer of some kind and a graphics program. I can work my way around a graphics program a little bit.
MS Paint. It'll give you the colors, so cut and paste, and it'll give you some basic fonts.
Oh, you're going to be there. You're going to be there. You ain't going to give me nothing. You're going to go with me.
Just don't use Comic Sans. We're good. Good old Arial Black Bold.
Well, I love that. I love that for us. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. We'll close the session down here with the idea being that in the morning, the agents, some of them will go to a local library and they'll attempt to ply their trade. Right now, Agent Weber can see that Agent Hart is manning the monitoring device. So she is waiting for a call. She is on monitor duty, as we would like to say. And so we will see you back next episode, and we'll see how the agents do. Thanks, and good night.